You're not saying yes to a lot of things in your life because you actually want to do those things. You're saying yes because you don't want anyone else thinking less of you. You would much rather disappoint yourself than actually risk someone else's disapproval. And if this feels like you, then this episode is for you. I've said yes to many things that I really didn't want to do in certain areas of my life. The truth is, I wasn't actually scared of doing the thing. What I was scared of is what people would actually think about me if I told them no. It felt completely easier to deal with my own frustrations than to actually face and deal with the disappointment of other people. That's when I realized that saying yes all the time isn't really about you being a kind person or being kind. It's about the fear of being disliked by others. Oftentimes it goes without noticing, and it's a thing that happens in our subconscious mind. So you actually have to notice that you're doing it. Notice when you say yes out of fear. Start paying attention to those little moments, because within those little moments, you will find a lot of gems in there that will actually help you start to get over some of these things. Someone approaches you, they ask you to do something, or they propose something, and you say yes. And immediately you start to feel that feeling of regret and that feeling of tenseness in yourself. And you start to wonder, why did you even say yes in the first place? That is usually a sign that you weren't being honest with yourself in that moment, and you weren't being honest with that person. There's something you wanted to say. You wanted to express something. You either wanted to say no, or you had another thought or an idea of how to do this thing that you wanted to put out there, but because you're afraid of their reaction to that thing, you didn't say it. Then you started to feel that regret in yourself. So notice it. Notice it, and a great tool that you can use to actually notice those things and to start to address it when those happen is the RAIN method, which is a mindfulness technique. R stands for recognize, the A stands for acknowledge, the I stands for investigate, and the N stands for not identification. Recognize that something feels off about you. You had this situation, somebody said something, you said yes to something, and then now you feel tense and you feel regret. Recognize that you're different than you were just a few moments ago. You have to recognize that. And then once you recognize that, you have to acknowledge it, that yes, that is in fact the facts. That is in fact the truth, is that I am different than I was a few minutes ago, an hour ago, yesterday, because this thing that's happened has changed me inside. And then once you acknowledge, now you have to investigate. This is where you put your Sherlock Holmes hat on and you go on a detective mission to now try to figure out, okay, why exactly do I feel this way? Why is it that I accepted to do this thing, but I'm not excited to help this person, or I'm not excited to go execute on this thing? What exactly is going on? What is it about this thing that has changed the way I felt and that has sort of made me feel some feelings that I don't necessarily like? That is the investigation. You start to ask yourself questions. Start to ask yourself questions and digging into those questions and asking why. Ask why the first time, come up with an answer, and then ask another why, and keep asking why until you get to those real core reasons why you're feeling the way you are. So you'll end up asking why on one question 5, 6, 7 times. And the more you ask why, the more you start to dig into those layers and actually get to the root of the problem. And that's what you do when you investigate. Then the next one is the N here. It's not identifying. And what this means is a little confusing, but I'll try to break it down here. Is not identifying is realizing that the core person of who you are and the emotions that you feel have a separate essence to them. So it's two separate things. How you feel versus who you are as a human being is not the same. So if you're feeling frustrated, that does not make you a frustrated human being. If you're feeling angry, that does not make you an angry human being. If you're feeling this tense, this sadness, it does not make you that person. So you have to understand that those are just emotions that we have as humans. Everybody has those emotions. You have those emotions. You can be happy one day. You can be sad the next. You can be angry right now, and then you can feel completely fine, right? You're going to go through those motions. So when you realize that you, the core, the human, the person, stays the same no matter what, but the emotions come and go, that is not identifying. So in this case, once you've done the investigation, why do I feel tense? Why do I feel off? Why do I not feel good about this decision? Realize it's not because you are a person who just doesn't like to do the things that other people ask you to do, or you don't like to be on board with something that somebody wants you to do. You just have to realize that there's emotions that come with that, and you have to figure out what those emotions are, and those are not defining who you are as a person. So using the RAIN method is a method that you can use to pay attention to those feelings when they come, and it's a very good tool to use. If you are getting something out of this episode, make sure to subscribe to the Be Unafraid podcast. I share episodes every single week that will help you build that confidence so that you actually turn up as the most authentic version of yourself. So let's get back into the episode. Try saying no in small situations. You don't have to jump into the big situations. Those will feel very hard to do right now, and you may not be there right now. So start with the little things. It's not about huge jumping. It's always about the little things. If you want to take care of the big things, you must first take care of the little things. So you don't have to make it a big deal. You don't have to make it a big deal. Just practice saying no in those little things. Somebody asks you to do something. Somebody asks you to hang out when you were trying to go work out that day. Somebody asks you to do this thing when you're a little bit busy, but you can do it later, right? Be honest and say, I can't do that right now, or I don't want to do that, or I can't do this, but I can do this, right? Whatever your honest feelings are about that and what you want to do, try doing that in those small situations, and then that will build up. The more you do it, the more easier it gets, and you start to realize that most people are okay with it. And actually, most people prefer it because what you do is you set your intentions and expectations up front, and they may be asking you to do something as well, afraid of what you might say to that ask, and they don't know what your response is going to be. So when you give them an honest answer and an honest feedback, they are actually relieved themselves to say, I know exactly where you stand. You either like this thing, you don't like this thing, you want to do it, you don't want to do it, it's a good idea, bad idea. You were giving them that feedback. So people tend to actually want honesty out of the things that they ask for you to do. Instead of saying what you think other people want to hear, just say what you want to say. Just say what you want to say. And it's more honest and authentic that way. And it's going to be uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not somebody who is used to saying what they want to say and you tend to shy away from that. It's going to be very uncomfortable, but really, if you want true and authentic relationships with people and for you to feel better about yourself and be able to not have these feelings of regret and always wondering, I should have done this, I should have said this, I should have expressed this, it's better to be honest, because that will make the relationship with that person and you and yourself even better, and it'll feel more lighter and real. When you constantly keep saying yes just to avoid letting other people down, it's going to start to wear on you. But when you're honest, even just a little bit, you start to actually feel more like yourself again, little by little. So what's one moment this week that you can actually be a little bit more honest in the way that you express yourself, a little bit more honest in what you want to say? Think about that. And this week, make sure that you actually do it. Practice saying no next time it comes up. And when you practice it and you actually don't, and you still don't say no, those emotions are going to come up again. Use the RAIN method and use that to get to the root cause of things, and then commit to practicing to saying no the next time. You don't have to stop being kind. You just have to be honest with how you do it. If you feel like you've been letting yourself down in your own life and you're making promises that you're not keeping and it's starting to wear on you, check out this episode right here where I talk about how you can overcome that, start to build that confidence back up, and then go out there and tackle those things in your life with even more confidence and momentum.